What if Hitler got accepted into art school? Imagine standing in line at a quiet Vienna gallery in the 1940s. You step inside. The walls are filled with watercolor landscapes, peaceful alpine towns, soft, symmetrical architecture, and in the corner, a signature that says, A. Hitler. Not a dictator, not a war criminal, not the face of history's darkest chapter, just a painter. It sounds like fiction, but it nearly happened. In 1907, Adolf Hitler applied to the Academy of Fine Arts in Vienna twice. Both times, he was rejected. His dream of becoming an artist was crushed. The professors said his work lacked imagination, that he was better at buildings than people. He took it personally. He spiraled, angry, directionless, alone. That rejection set off a chain of events that would change the world forever. But what if the rejection never happened? What if, on a different day, with a different mood, a single professor looked at Hitler's portfolio and said, yes? Suddenly, the angry dropout becomes an art student. He's too busy sketching cathedrals and perfecting light and shadow to sit in beer halls ranting about politics. He doesn't write Mein Kampf. He doesn't join the Nazi party. There is no Nazi party, and without him, the movement never catches fire. No brown shirts marching through German streets. No swastikas waving. No cries of racial purity. No Holocaust. 6 million Jews, along with millions of others, live. Generations grow up with grandparents who survive. Entire bloodlines are never erased. World War II, maybe it never happens. Germany, still humiliated after World War I, might struggle, but there's no charismatic fanatic to exploit the pain. No lightning-fast invasions of Poland. No blitz over London. No Pearl Harbor. The US might never enter the global battlefield. Hiroshima and Nagasaki remain intact. The atomic bomb stays in a lab, or maybe isn't built at all. The ripple effects are massive. The Cold War, as we know it, probably doesn't exist. No Berlin Wall, no Cuban Missile Crisis. The superpowers might still compete, but without the ashes of World War II fueling the fire, the lines are blurrier. Maybe the US isn't forced into global leadership so fast. Maybe the United Nations never forms, or forms differently, and then there's Israel. The modern state of Israel was born from the horrors of the Holocaust. Without it, Jewish migration patterns shift. Middle Eastern geopolitics unfold along a different axis. Wars, borders, and alliances we now take for granted might vanish. And what about the space race? NASA's foundations were built with help from former Nazi scientists. Werner von Braun, the man behind the V-2 rocket, and later the Saturn V, was brought to America after the war. If there's no war, there's no Operation Paperclip. Maybe someone else puts a man on the moon. Maybe it happens later, or never. But the biggest shift? How we define evil. Without Hitler, as history's cautionary tale, the image of totalitarianism might look very different. We might not have that one symbol, the ultimate villain, to point to. Dictators could rise under different disguises. The lessons we take for granted about propaganda, mass psychology, and genocide might never be taught the same way. History books would lose one of their darkest chapters, but also one of their clearest warnings. And yet, it's not as simple as rewriting a name on a college acceptance letter. There were still extremist ideas in Europe, still broken economies, still deep-rooted anti-Semitism. Someone else might have stepped in, maybe not with Hitler's rage or charisma, but with enough fuel to ignite war, or maybe not. Maybe the powder keg sits unexploded. Maybe Europe rebuilds slowly, painfully, but peacefully. Still, it's haunting to think that one person, denied one opportunity, created so much destruction. It makes you wonder how many futures hang on a single decision, an acceptance letter, a conversation, a yes instead of a no. In another timeline, a man obsessed with architecture paints quiet cityscapes and never touches a microphone. No speeches, no rallies, just oil and canvas. And the world sleeps a little easier. One moment, one rejection, one what if, that changed everything.